It looks like we may be avoiding one disaster that was looming this month, just 1 day shy of the deadline. Moments ago, the Senate voted to extend government funding till February 18th, which avoids a government shutdown ahead of tomorrow's midnight deadline. We may have averted this disaster tonight, but another one still looms. As this year draws to an end, more people are realizing what we on this show have been sounding the alarm about for months. The days left to protect voting rights are dwindling too, and the president and Congress are running out of time. According to Politico, anger is just now setting in among some Democrats with the realization that voting rights will likely not get passed this year. I don't know where these people have been, but we've had on voting rights activists, many of the ones in that article who have been raising concerns and speaking out for some time. A report in the New Republic claims that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is somehow maneuvering to get a bill passed without nixing the filibuster before the end of this month. All that as the administration is defending a travel ban on African countries after the restrictions were met with backlash by international organizations and public health experts. Take a listen.
The decision to put in place specific travel restrictions from a set of countries was made based on the recommendation of our health and medical team and based on the fact that there were hundreds, if not thousands, of cases that we were seeing in South Africa and concern about neighboring countries. So that was the decision that was made at that time. No one wants that to be permanent. As you know, we are assessing and reviewing, working 24/7. Our health and medical teams are to evaluate, learn more about this variant, and we will assess if additional restrictions need to be put in place.
Joining me now to discuss all that and more is Congressional Black Caucus member Emanuel Cleaver. Representative Cleaver, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Politico is quoting several voting rights activists, or it's kind of panicking almost about the fact that voting rights may not get passed this year, being pushed off into next year, which is, we're already in an election cycle. What have you heard directly from the White House about what their plans are for voting rights?
Well, first of all, I thank you for having me. But I think there are a number of us who are furious because we recognize the danger that we're in, not just, members of Congress who may be in danger of losing seats because of the the violations of the Voting Rights Act were in place, but also we stand a chance of losing our democracy. I think the White House is leaving this mainly up to the Senate and by some extension the House, but we've already sent the bill over to the House. Today, I had conversations with a number of people, including Bobby Scott, who's one of the constitutional experts who resides in Congress. I think there were a lot of things we wanted in the Voting Rights Act. There are some things that I think we would settle for. One of them would have to be the Section 4, whereby before these states can make these dramatic, illegal, and in some cases racist changes, they'll have to be cleared by the Justice Department. That's critical, and I think that we would like to get that done if we can't get anything else, and then we reintroduce the bill. But because I think if we don't have pre-clearance, you can tell your viewers with assurance that we will have in 2022 problems that we thought we had left in the 1800s, the 1900s, when it comes to African Americans' right to vote. It's awful. So, my father just turned 100 in July. He has a command of all his faculties, and he's saying, I just wanted to have one more fair election before I have to check out, and that really bothered me. He's been around this country for 100 years, and after all the struggles he's seen, after all of the things that he's experienced, Here he is at 100 and watching democracy drip away.
Schumer is saying, floating this idea of being able to pass a voting rights bill without nixing or presumably altering the filibuster. How is that possible? If we could do that, that should have been done already. Do you understand what he's talking about?
Well, my understanding is that there were some problems with Senator Tim Scott, who objected to some components in the bill, and I think his co-worker, if you will, was trying to get him to move and to act, Cory Booker, and he just was not able to get him to move. Tim Scott, the Republican from South Carolina, senator, and Karen Bass put, I would imagine, 6 months of her life since the last election into trying to get this passed. We've done just about everything, but we have also begun to try to get Democratic help. If we could get Senator Sinema to agree to make an exception for voting rights with the filibuster, we can probably get this done and get it done before the end of the year. But we don't have much time. Many of us who are going to our districts tonight or tomorrow are willing to come back and stay all the way up to Christmas if there's a chance that we can get a cutout of the filibuster, just so we can get this passed. It's going to hurt everybody who considers themselves to be a Democrat, but for black and brown people, this is going to be one of the biggest blows that we have experienced since Jim Crow.
Let's go back to something you mentioned earlier about the districts and pre-clearance. We are seeing now Republicans redrawing their congressional districts in a gerrymandered way, in a racially partisan gerrymandered way. And one thing that we have identified on this show and discussed has been what looks like in the early going in the 4 states that we have identified an active attack on districts that are held by black lawmakers, that those districts are being targeted to be redrawn or being drawn out of existence or being drawn in ways that almost ensure that a Republican will replace them. How do you see what is happening on the redistricting front?
Well, exactly what you just said. That's very real. G.K. Butterfield of North Carolina, Wilson, North Carolina, and I came in at the same time. We were in the same class. I tried desperately to talk him out of not declaring that he would not run for re-election. However, when his district was redrawn, he just said, that's it. I don't. There's no point in me hanging around. And I think we're seeing the same thing in a district in Illinois. We're seeing the same thing in a district in Missouri, the 5th district of which I have for the last 18 years. And members on the floor of the House today are speaking, talking among themselves about the fact that there very well may be intentionality, that African American seats are being targeted, or seats held by African Americans are being targeted. And we are realizing now that some of this could be stopped if we had the Voting Rights Act in place.
Mm-hmm. Congressman Cleaver, thank you so much for joining us, and I really appreciate your time, sir.